The sky over Eternia burned with hues of gold and crimson, as if the heavens themselves foretold a clash of legends. Prince Adam stood on the battlements of Castle Grayskull, his hand gripping the hilt of the Sword of Power. It had been an uneasy week. Whispers of a new invader, someone unlike any Eternia had ever faced, reached his ears. This wasn't Skeletor, nor one of Hordak's minions. No, this foe hailed from another world entirely. The sorceress appeared in a shimmer of light, her ethereal form brimming with urgency. "Adam," she said, her voice echoing like 1,000 bells. "A being of unparalleled power approaches. He is not of Eternia, yet his presence here could unravel the balance of magic and might. You must be ready." Adam furrowed his brow. "Who is he?" The sorceress hesitated, her expression one of unease. "He is called Superman, a champion of a distant realm. He possesses strength beyond imagination, speed faster than the eye can see, and a heart as resolute as your own. Yet his arrival here is not by chance. Something, or someone, has drawn him to this world." Before Adam could press further, the wind roared as a shockwave rippled across the landscape. A figure descended from the heavens, clad in a blue suit with a red cape billowing behind him. His chest bore a bold insignia, a shield with an S inside it. His landing shook the earth, and his calm gaze surveyed the terrain. "Who are you?" Adam called out, stepping forward. The Sword of Power gleamed, as if responding to the presence of this newcomer. Superman's voice was steady, yet carried the weight of authority. "My name is Kal-El, though many call me Superman. I come from a planet called Earth. I mean no harm, but I've been pulled here by an unfamiliar force. I'm trying to uncover the source of this disturbance." Adam's grip on his sword tightened. He could sense the immense power radiating from this man. Not magical, but something equally potent. If you're seeking answers, you'll find none here without a fight. Eternia's balance is fragile, and I won't let an outsider disrupt it. Superman raised a hand, his voice calm but firm. "I don't want to fight you. I seek peace. But if you're a threat to my mission or to anyone's safety, I won't stand down." The sorceress appeared between them, her form flickering like a candle in the wind. "Wait! This conflict serves no purpose. Superman, your presence here stems from a manipulation of forces greater than you know. And Adam, this man is not your enemy. Stand down, both of you." But her plea was drowned out by a sudden, malevolent laugh that echoed through the air. Skeletor materialized atop a nearby cliff, his skeletal visage twisted into a sinister grin. "Ah, what a delightful sight. Two champions of virtue, poised to destroy each other. How deliciously ironic." Superman turned toward the new arrival, his keen senses immediately discerning the danger. "Who is this?" he asked. Adam sighed, his voice low but edged with resolve. "That's Skeletor, the scourge of Eternia. If he's involved, then your presence here isn't just a coincidence." Skeletor raised his havoc staff, its dark energy crackling like thunder. "Why, thank you for the introduction, He-Man. But the real show begins now." With a flick of his staff, he unleashed a wave of dark magic that rippled toward both heroes. Adam reacted instantly. Raising the Sword of Power high, he shouted, "By the power of Grayskull!" A bolt of energy engulfed him, transforming him into He-Man, the mightiest warrior in the universe. The magic from Skeletor's attack dissipated as it struck his blade. Superman, meanwhile, surged forward, his heat vision cutting through the magical wave like a knife through butter. In an instant, he was face to face with Skeletor, his fist stopping just short of the villain's skeletal face. "Enough games," Superman said. "Tell me why I'm here." But Skeletor merely cackled, teleporting away in a flash of dark energy. His voice echoed in the distance. "Oh, you'll find out soon enough, Kryptonian. But first, let's see how you fare against Eternia's greatest champion." Superman turned back to He-Man, who now stood ready, his sword of power gleaming in the twilight. "It seems we've both been drawn into his trap," Superman said. He-Man nodded, his expression grim. Perhaps, but I don't trust you yet, Superman. And in Eternia, trust is earned in battle. Superman's eyes narrowed, his stance shifting to one of readiness. If that's what it takes, He-Man, then let's settle this. The winds howled as the two titans faced each other, their combined power causing the ground to tremble beneath their feet. In that moment, the fate of Eternia and the truth behind their encounter hung in the balance, ready to be decided in an epic clash of strength, skill, and will. The battlefield was silent, save for the crackle of energy radiating from He-Man's sword of power and the faint rustle of Superman's cape in the wind. The tension between the two champions was palpable, as if Eternia itself held its breath for what was to come. He-Man moved first, lunging forward with speed that belied his immense size. The sword of power gleamed as he swung it in a wide arc, aiming to test the mettle of this alien invader. Superman caught the blade with his bare hand, his Kryptonian strength holding firm against the magical weapon. Sparks erupted from the clash, lighting up the darkened landscape. "You're strong," Superman admitted, his voice calm but strained from the effort. "But I fought stronger." He-Man smirked, pushing forward with a surge of energy that forced Superman to slide back, his boots carving shallow trenches into the earth. "Let's see how you handle this." He-Man roared, spinning and delivering a crushing backhand with his free hand. The blow connected with Superman's jaw, sending the Man of Steel flying through the air like a missile. Superman crashed into a nearby mountain, shattering the rock face. Dust and debris filled the air as He-Man approached, the ground trembling beneath his every step. "I don't want to hurt you," He-Man said, his voice laced with genuine respect. "Yield, and we can end this." Emerging from the rubble, Superman wiped a trickle of blood from the corner of his mouth. His eyes glowed red with restrained heat vision as he replied, "I've heard that before. Let's see what you're really made of." Superman launched himself forward at blinding speed, the sonic boom of his flight echoing across the landscape. He-Man barely had time to brace before Superman's fist collided with his chest, sending him skidding backward across the ground. Before He-Man could recover, Superman was upon him again, delivering a flurry of punches that landed with the force of thunderclaps. He-Man gritted his teeth, his body enduring the relentless onslaught. With a defiant roar, he swung the sword of power in a wide arc, releasing a beam of pure magical energy. The blast struck Superman squarely in the chest, hurling him across the battlefield and into the sky. The sorceress watched from Castle Grayskull, her expression a mix of awe and concern. "Their power is shaking the very foundations of Eternia," she murmured. "But Superman is adapting." In the air, Superman steadied himself, his cape rippling as he hovered above the battlefield. "Magic," he muttered, his voice filled with frustration and determination. "That's your edge, but I face worse." He rocketed back toward He-Man, his eyes glowing red-hot. This time, he unleashed twin beams of heat vision, slicing through the air with searing precision. He-Man raised his sword to block, the blade absorbing the energy, but the sheer force drove him to one knee. "You're good," He-Man admitted, standing and shaking off the strain. "But you'll need more than brute strength to defeat me." Superman landed with a resounding thud, the ground cracking beneath his boots. "Good thing I've got more," he said, zipping forward in a blur. He feinted to the left, drawing He-Man's attention, before delivering a devastating uppercut that sent the Eternian warrior hurtling into the air. Before He-Man could fall back to the ground, Superman shot upward, meeting him mid-air. Grabbing He-Man by the wrist, Superman spun him around and hurled him toward the distant plains. He-Man crashed into the ground, carving a massive crater into the earth. He-Man rose slowly, his body battered but unbroken. He planted the sword of power into the ground, drawing strength from Grayskull itself. The sword glowed brighter than ever before as he charged forward, his every step shaking the ground. Superman stood his ground, his fists clenched and his eyes locked on his opponent. When He-Man reached him, their clash created a shockwave that leveled nearby trees and scattered debris for miles. They exchanged blow after blow, each strike creating ripples of energy that could be felt across Eternia. Finally, Superman found an opening. Using his superior speed, he darted behind He-Man and locked his arms around the warrior's torso. With a mighty heave, Superman launched He-Man high into the sky before slamming him back into the ground with a force that shook the horizon. He-Man struggled to rise, his grip on the sword of power faltering. Superman landed softly beside him, extending a hand. "You're incredible," he said, his voice steady but filled with respect. "But this fight is over." He-Man looked up at the Kryptonian, his pride and determination roaring with the undeniable truth of his defeat. After a long moment, he took Superman's hand and allowed himself to be pulled to his feet. "You're as strong as they come," He-Man said, his voice tinged with admiration. "Eternia is lucky you're not our enemy." Superman smiled faintly. "I could say the same about you. Let's figure out who's behind this and make sure it doesn't happen again." As the two champions stood side by side, ready to face whatever new challenge awaited, the winds of Eternia carried with them a sense of foreboding. For though this battle was over, the true enemy was still at large, and the stakes were higher than either of them could have imagined.